Hello, everybody. Welcome into commodity culture, where our goal is to make you a better investor in the commodities sector. My name is Jesse Day. Before we dive in today, nothing here is investment advice. Do your own due diligence. Today is February 2nd, 2026, and my guest is the CEO of J2 Metals, a company advancing gold and silver exploration projects with historical production or significant drill results in established mining jurisdictions in Mexico, Quebec, and Alaska. It's Thomas Lamb. Great to see you again.
You too, Jesse. It's great to be here.
Let's kick things off by discussing the silver market because what a dramatic price action that we have seen. I can't even find the words to say it, but we saw a very significant single day drop, obviously, last week, Friday, for both gold and silver, with gold correcting around 10%, silver a whopping 26%. The last time I checked the silver price today, it was down over 11%. Now, we did just experience a massive run up in both metals. Do you think this is just a correction that's occurring due to profit taking? Is this just par for the course after the metals ran so far so fast? Or are there other factors at play in your view?
Okay, well, I think it's a bunch of different things all happening at the same time. The timing of the move right at the very end of the month, with a lot of uh, big players, banks, et cetera, with all their short positions and unwinding that had to happen, covering themselves, et cetera. I think that's a factor. Um, there, of course, is the Fed chair that maybe is going to be a little more hawkish than people expected. Uh, I expected there to be a very loose uh, print money type of person, because that was what Trump has been uh, talking about. Um, so that was a bit of a surprise. I want to mention I was just recently in Germany and Switzerland, talking to some very senior gold and silver investors who have really been around. I mean, they're definitely experts. They've been watching this very closely, and they are not worried about the gyrations in the silver and gold market. They expect them. They told me this was 2 weeks ago. Expect really big moves, 30% and up, 30% down, as we move up to, could be 150, $200 silver. I think you mentioned when we were chatting that inflation adjusted, the high would be actually $200 plus. And so they that's what that's what they're going for, is a couple $100 silver. And they said, don't worry about the gyrations. Myself, if you're in this business, and of course you're running these companies, it can be, you wake up in the morning and it's exciting. Okay, so and heart stopping. I did want to mention, so positioning got crowded in the space, big upward movement, and when these things unwind, right at the end of the month, there you had some, who knows what's happening exactly. It can be brutal and it can be fast. So I think, and especially in silver. So there was a jump in the U.S. dollar. Um, you have the long-term rates expectations now with the Fed chair, and likely, be a little more hawkish in the U.S. There was systematic selling, was forced deleveraging, um, and silver gets hit harder than anything. Gold moves a bit, silver moves a lot. So I think that's that's what I see. I made a few notes here before joining, so I wanted to say a few things, but they're a little bit cliche. But I've always wanted to say this, that in precious metals, the elevator down is faster than the stairs on the way up. So you work your way up, and then things drop, but then you keep working your way back up again. So those some things I want to say about that.
And I think we also need to keep it in perspective that it wasn't that long ago where people thought $50 silver was far away on the horizon. I would always get comments on my videos at silver when it was around the $30 range that we'd never get to 50. There's too much manipulation in the market, and we're at $70 and change. I don't know exactly what it is right now. I think 77 last time I checked. These are still very large numbers, particularly for silver companies when it comes to the value of ounces in the ground. So from your perspective as the CEO of J2 Metals, although it's disheartening, of course, to see it drop from 120 to where it is today, I think we have to put things in perspective and imagine a world where we'd never gone to 120. And if we were at 70 some odd dollars, we would consider that to be a fantastic win, right?
Incredible. So first of all, J2 is a really interesting investment proposition because I think it's valued at uh, just in regards to in relation to our silver project now, Sierra Plata in Mexico. And we priced that and we did the deal when silver was around $50, and $70 was a dream. $78 would just be amazing. We Both sides of the deal thought it was a really good deal at $50 silver. And we're very excited about what we were going to do with the company, build a serious uh, silver and gold company here with our basket of assets. So $78 is just like you say. We're really pleased.
Well, we're going to jump into J2 Metals in just a moment, but first I'd love to get your thoughts on the gold space right now because, as I mentioned, it has fallen along with silver, but much less dramatically. Obviously, gold known for being less volatile, which is certainly played out here. What do you see as the main catalyst driving the gold market here, and what inning of this gold bull cycle would you say we're in?
Okay, I'm booking up on gold again. I started my career after I was an M&A lawyer as a young man. I started a gold company with a friend, and we built that over 5 years. And it was a producer, and we IPO'd and we built it from 2005 2010. And I was all over gold, and I understood it really well. And then I'm getting back into it, so I'm making I've been booking up. I do have thoughts. The things I track are central banks, their accumulation. I'm quite interested in that. And then because I actually, I've got a bit of an economics side to me, um, I really do look at you could call them monetary credibility cycles, um, and what's going on with the real rate. So, uh, and what's going to happen to uh, future, I made a note of this too, future purchasing power path. So this is what is happening to currency over the long term here, or medium term, and what does society think is going to happen when it comes to uh, the value of money. And so it's not just the sort of inflation today, but what do people think is really going to happen over the next 5, 10 years, and what's happened over the past five. And that trajectory is just very, very bullish for gold. So I look at that. Geopolitics, and you have fragmentation. You've got all these various forces trying to pull people apart, whether it's the European Union, you've got North America, Canada, a lot going on out there. So gold out there is neutral, where people can step in and buy gold as opposed to having to hold currencies, that sort of thing. So let's see what happens with geopolitics. And then finally, and this is related to a point I made a couple points ago, which is what's happening with yields. Um, are they actually below inflation expectations? Because if they are, and in my view, nobody wants to dial up interest rates, but if you don't, uh, this is great for gold. And so I'm looking at that too. What's going to happen? So let's see what they do in the U.S. Of course, that's leading the way. Um, yeah, and where are we? I would say we're kind of in the middle innings here. We've got an exciting few years ahead of us. Um, Gold, silver, copper, uranium, everything is going to do very well as far as I can tell. So those are some of the things I'm looking at.
Silver has different factors driving it, as it has a massive industrial component in addition to being a monetary metal. Which drivers do you think drove silver to triple digits? And do you think this dramatic correction could signal the end of the silver bull, or do you think we ultimately retrace to that $100 plus level, maybe even here in 2026?
I think we're going to retrace. I don't know how quickly. Artificial intelligence, solar, and other industrial and tech applications. I have looked at supply demand. Uh, I've gotten into the weeds on it, gotten granular, and so I've I'm very confident that There just simply is not enough supply. You've got, so, silver is produced as a byproduct or a co-product, et cetera, at a lot of mines. And there aren't that many silver primary mines. You just simply cannot ramp up production, and demand is going up, up, up. So it's a bit like uranium, which I'm also very close to, obviously. And there just is no answer to this question of where are we going to get the silver. So yeah, I think we're going to retrace. And China just is they really plan ahead, as we've seen in all the critical minerals, uranium, the giant stockpiles, and silver. They're buying up silver as much as they possibly can. And I think a lot of the buyers are going to be indifferent to price over the next 18 months. So yeah, no, I see us retracing. Industrial demand. There's no answer. It's my view. Yeah.
When looking at the gold and silver mining sector, we've seen good performance over the last year or so, but not the level of performance over the metals that many were expecting. I interviewed Rick Rule on this show recently, and he revealed that he sold 80% of his physical silver before the correction. So good job there, Rick. And he rated much of that capital into silver mining stocks, indicating that he believes that's going to be the next beneficiary in the precious metals bull cycle. Do you think the miners are next up to massively outperform?
I totally agree. I've been through, I now have lots of gray hair. I've been around for several cycles, and I just see it every time. Rick's absolutely right. So, of course, we're waiting. I mean, I'm in this business, the small and mid cap business myself. We're always waiting to see what the large caps do. You're going to have a move in the metal. Then that's going to have to translate into cash flows for the producers. And once investors see that that is real, and that they get a few quarters and maybe a year of big cash flows, whether silver, gold, etc., then that locks it in, makes it real, and everything just starts moving down to the mid caps and small caps, which of course make the big move. When exactly, you don't know, but Rick is absolutely right. So we're all very excited. I think anybody who's getting positioned in quality small caps, fasten your seatbelt. There's going to be gyrations. It's going to be exciting. But then they make these huge moves. We see it every single cycle, and it's coming, in my view. Just wait till cash flows and profit gets reported in some of these bigger companies with these big, silver had, when was silver $30, $40 just a few months ago, right? It's however many months ago that is. It's not long. And so you get these silver companies with $70, $80 silver, gold companies with the big, just literally printing money, and then mid caps juniors will move.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I think that's a great segue into discussing J2 Metals and how the company fits into the picture. Could you start by giving us an overview?
Yeah. So J2 was a dormant private company for 5-6 years. Myself and my co-founder, Toby Pierce, who's well known in the sector and in the oil business too, resource guy, he and I started it 6 years ago. Private company, acquired 2 projects from Kenorland, which is a really highly regarded project generator, excellent technical team, and they were kind of our partners. They became our largest shareholder of J2. We raised millions of dollars privately to explore Miniac in Quebec and Napoleon in Alaska. However, the sector got ice cold. Toby and I each kept cutting personal checks out of our checking accounts for years to keep the company alive, a couple $100,000 each at least. That's a familiar story in this. You interview other founders, executives, et cetera. We all do that during the downturn, and hopefully you last long enough to catch the recovery. And we seem to have done that. We did have a big rollback. Anyway, we have these 2 fantastic projects in Quebec and Alaska, but then silver opportunity came along, Sierra Plata in Mexico. Okay. Number 1, Sierra Plata, epithermal silver system. We have a 100% option that we've acquired from Impact Silver, earn up to 100% over 3 years. And this is an epithermal silver, gold, antimony project. It has 5 past producing silver gold mines. The grades are very good. We're at the high level of this epithermal system, which are zoned these things are zoned vertically. These mines probably produced about 500-gram silver head grade, quite a bit of gold, but we don't have the likely gold grades. And then depending where we are on the vertically, antimony is all over the place too. What this means is that these sit above these big, thicker feeder systems and then large regional structures. So we have lots of silver, we have lots of gold, we've got antimony, which is a critical mineral, and the price is at a record high. But we probably sit, well, I'd say probably. The thesis is that we sit above potential bonanza silver discoveries where the silver veins get 10 meters wide, et cetera. So that's deeper. So the plan at Sierra Plata, we're very excited. We're going to be doing mapping, geochemistry, and geophysics immediately. Then we're going to get out the smaller drills, which we can access. Our partner Impact Silver is right there, and they have a bunch of smaller drills that we can access. Then we're going to drill probably under each of these 5 past producing mines and the vast number of silver workings. The project's really big, 2,200 hectares. Drill under these things, and then eventually we'll get the really big drills out and drill deeper for these bonanza discoveries. It's a very high-end project, as people will see, and we're going to plow money into it, and it's going to be very interesting. Second project is Miniac in Quebec. That's in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt, very hot district. We're right in the middle of it. In all directions, there are mega projects, 17 million ounces, 25 million ounces, etc. It's a VMS project. It has historic drilling. It has our phase 1 drilling from 5 years ago. In all cases, it encountered good gold, good zinc. And now it's time to make the big discoveries. Geophysics has directed us to 19 high probability targets or hot targets. And there's a 7-kilometer conductive structure. And we're excited to get back there and drill. And we'll be doing that. We're going to shoot $200,000 worth of IP here just to really focus in on the targets vector, and then we've got probably a 12-hole drill program coming up. Napoleon in Alaska, our third project. By the way, each of these are company makers in their own right. They could each sit in their own pubco and be quite valuable. So that's why there's this big opportunity in the company for investors. One of the reasons. Napoleon in Alaska. This is in the Tintana Arc. Lots of big projects going through Alaska, Yukon into British Columbia. Around Napoleon, the waterways have produced up to 1 million ounces of placer gold. And we have what is the only known hard rock source. We have rock chips. It was historically owned by Teck and Kennecott. Super majors there. They drilled it. They chipped up to 596 grams gold. They drilled, I believe this was Teck, 79 meters of 0.9. So this would be in the halo of a system. We know there's a lot of gold there. We drilled some ourselves, some RAB drilling 4 or 5 years ago, rotary air blast. Also some nice gold hits. And now it's time to get the big diamond drill out. And after we've done some high-res mag, and now we want to get the big drill out and drill some of the very cool targets that we have. So all 3 projects have really big discovery potential, and they all have either historic drilling, historic production in the case of Sierra Plata in Mexico, and with the addition of geophysics and our technical analysis, it's discovery time. So we're in that sweet spot. We're right in the middle where you want to be to get the really big lift, especially at our valuation right now. So please take a look at our PowerPoint, everybody. Look at comps out there. We are 3 companies in one. That may lead to spinouts, by the way, of our projects, because they can be valued as standalone and against their comps. And So let's see. We're going to try and create as much value as we can for investors. And our team has done it before.
Great. I'm going to make sure to put a link in the description to the investor presentation so people can check that out as well. Now, you mentioned the team. I'd like to dive into that, starting with yourself, because many watching may know you as the CEO of Myriad Uranium, and I'm sure they'll have the question, what made you decide to take the helm at J2 Metals, and how do you manage being CEOs of two companies without diluting your focus on either one? So if you could answer that and then maybe dive into the rest of the team as well.
I started this company a long time ago with Toby. We raised, millions of dollars, $5 million plus, if I recall. And we have an obligation to our investors. We did that privately. Whenever we do these things, we commit to getting everybody their money back and more if we can. So I was always going to try to get this company public, and advance it, and then hand it off to the right team to drive forward. So it's my obligation to the company and to our investors, and that's why I've continued. I've been CEO all along. We IPO'd. We had the silver opportunity. We had to jump on it. It's an incredible project, and so that's why I'm here as CEO. Now, at both companies, Myriad Uranium and J2. We have excellent teams, and people who know me, I like to work probably too many hours a day and per week, etc. But it's also about working intelligently and with high leverage. So I have a really great team. In J2, we have Graham Giles as our geologist. He's got 20 years of experience. He's an excellent exploration geo with a gold historic focus more recently, but he's going to be a fabulous silver geo also, and we're very lucky to have him. Simon Clark is a new director. Simon and I started M2 Cobalt together from scratch, along with another couple partners. We sold that to an offshoot of Glencore. Nickel Cobalt Group went off and started a company called JTWO, and we sold to them, and we were part of the executive team there as we went up to 1.4 billion Aussie. So we build companies from scratch right up to turn them into big returns for investors. Simon, I love working with him. He's a great partner. He was CEO of American Lithium, which he helped take from 50 million up to 1.2 billion. Was also just a fabulous example of building a company. So Toby Pierce, he's been CEO, director, et cetera, of a number of companies. He's on our board of directors, and is my partner on J2. He has raised hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars for companies and had some big wins. So, together, a little more on my background. I was the original founder and first shareholder of a company called Gold Group, which is actually doing fairly well right now, but it was a gold producer. We started that from scratch and literally a cocktail napkin with my friend. And that went up to a couple $100 million market cap as a gold producer in 2010 and beyond. And then just the last thing, I was on the board of Uzhhorod-Zolota. That was Russia's second largest gold producer. 11 big gold mines all across Russia. And I was on the board of that company for several years. So I have, very interesting, what I think is quite interesting, and of course, it's somewhat exotic gold experience, all the way from cocktail napkin, two companies, cocktail napkin, maybe three, all the way up to, tens of billions of dollars market cap. So that's a bit of my experience. And I'm very excited here to, hopefully make our investors a really good return here. We're going to give it our best.
Yeah, you've given us a bit of an overview of your three main projects, Sierra Plata in Mexico, the Silver Project, Napoleon in Alaska, and what was the third one in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt?
Okay, so Napoleon is in Alaska and Miniac is in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt. Yeah.
Yeah, can you maybe walk us through any more pertinent details? And also, what are the main catalysts shareholders can expect from these projects, news flow here in 2026?
So in all three cases, Sierra Plata, only part of the project area has been mapped, but we know that it produced significant silver and gold in the 20s and 30s, up to the 20s and 30s, but for 500 years until the 20s and 30s, so 100 years ago. So we are going to, at Sierra Plata, we've got great catalysts coming up. In fact, our geos are on the way there. They're going to be doing sampling, mapping. Impact Silver's only mapped half of this site of this acreage. Again, 2,200 hectares. I'll explain that actually a little bit. Impact Silver is a producer. They're doing very well. Please take a look at them. They have this really large, they had, and well have, because we've optioned it, large exploration ground. And in Mexico, they've implemented a use it or lose it policy, and Mexican government. And so they had to do something with it. Otherwise, they were going to either pay a big tax or lose it. So we stepped in, and because of, we were the right team to do the deal with, I think, and we got a bit lucky. So we're the beneficiaries. It's extremely difficult to get ground in Mexico right now, and silver ground. So that's why we have it. And Impact Silver was going to mine over the course of decades south from where they are, and then into this ground along the major structure. But they have to speed things up because of use it or lose it. So we're going to be doing geophysics, geochemistry, and we're going to have exciting things to report, I think, over the next few months. And we're going to come up with drill targets, and we'll look at those in due course once we've reported the geochem and geophysics. Now, at Miniac in Quebec, about 2 years ago, we optioned the project during the ice-cold market, maybe 3 years ago, to a company called Stearman Resources. They did a high-def geophysics at the project. They thought the recovery was going to come faster than it did. A year ago, the CEO called me and said, "I'm sorry, we have to give the project back. The markets are ice-cold, but we have this fantastic additional geophysics that can sit on top of the drilling that you guys have done and the historical drilling." We looked at it, it's fantastic, but the markets were ice cold. But of course, they gave it back to us, and 2 months later, the market started to move. And now this is a fantastic project on a standalone basis right in the middle of the Greenstone Belt. So we currently have 19 high priority targets. Historic drilling has not been that deep. And a lot of the mines around, the giant deposits, the 25 million ounce deposits around, 17, 20 million ounce deposits are a bit deeper. So we're going to go back and we're going to do IP, $200,000 worth of IP to tighten up our targeting. So out of the 19 targets, we're probably going to drill 12 holes into 12 of them. And, we'll get on that very soon. In fact, we're raising some flow through right now to do that as part of the current financing. And so it's a very exciting project. I have lots of investors who are just absolutely laser focused on that, even though the silver is also tremendously exciting. The Project Napoleon in Alaska, we have great catalysts coming up in that we've shot mag, we've flown it, we've done drilling, and there's historic drilling. We know we are in a gold system, and we know the surrounding waterways with no other lode source potential that anybody's aware of other than inside our project area. We know there's a vast amount of gold in these surrounding waterways and that have been mined and that remains. There is a reasonable chance it's come from our project area, and there's gold all over the place where we are. So get the big drills out and drill a few of these targets that we think are the places to drill. So we have 3 projects, lots of catalysts at each of them. We're just in that sweet spot where we get to vector in on what we hope will be big discoveries at each. So that's what's coming.
And what's the company's current cash position? You recently completed a private placement that was upsized due to demand, and that raised gross proceeds of $5,300,000. Is that Canadian or US?
That's Canadian, and in fact, the financing is not closed yet. It'll be closing later this week.
Okay, great. So how much runway is that cash going to give you? And what are the plans for raising more capital in the future when needed?
So the good thing about this raise is that we are not going to need new money for a long time, as far as we can tell. So we get to advance all the projects, in particular, Miniac and Sierra Plata. and we get to really advance them. We do not burn very much cash, and this is very efficient. So, for example, all the work we have planned for Miniac in Quebec adds up to about 1.1 million currently. That's 200,000 of IP and 900,000 for 12 drill holes. And then we're going to get results. We're going to get assays, and maybe we'll have made a large scale discovery in the Abitibi. At Sierra Plata in Mexico, the first stage here is geophysics, LiDAR. If we do drone, we'll do high resolution LiDAR. Lots of geochemistry, really accurately map the place and understand exactly where we want to drill, and then move on from there. So we don't have a drill budget or drill targeting. However, this is plenty of money, and we do not burn it very quickly. We're people who know us. We're very focused on spending the money right into the ground, and we're going to be in a super position. And of course, there's going to be investor awareness, so people who step into J2 can trust that we're going to be telling the world about this company too. And another catalyst is we may spin out our third project, Napoleon, into a standalone company. So if we do that, everybody will get a kick of the can on Napoleon, and also a public company. And we think we can create value by doing that. We're looking at it. Of course, we haven't announced it, and it's not a certainty, but it's possible.
Well, I'll end, Thomas, by opening the floor to you. Is there anything we haven't yet discussed, or anything you think it's important to emphasize the potential shareholders of J2 Metals should be focused on?
So I guess three things. First of all, we are set up for discovery here. We have 3 projects, known mineralization. Sierra Plata has lots of silver, lots of gold, and antimony, and we have a real chance of making a bonanza or multiple bonanza discoveries at Sierra Plata in Mexico. So our work programs are going to be designed around that, and catalysts, and we get to go stepwise and report. So this is not one of these sort of everybody's going to be waiting around for months and years to see what happens. It's going to be very exciting. The second is that, look at our market cap, look at our valuation, and look at the quality of our projects. We have really three shots on goal, to use a hockey metaphor. We are in proven jurisdictions. We have lots of past production at Sierra Plata. Miniac has historic gold intercepts, and we're vectoring in on discovery there. And then Napoleon, of course, there's just tons of gold around. These are 3 projects, 3 really good chance at making big discovery. And the third thing I'll say is this is going to be very exciting. I think the gold price and silver price, there are going to be more moves up, more moves down. Volatility is the price of admission in this business. And as an investor, enjoy it. Try to enjoy it, while management, our team that has built companies before, from cocktail napkin up to quite big companies, while we take a disciplined approach to spending the money on exploration in a kind of a disciplined and efficient way. So while things are moving, we are actually going to try to build a real company here, and maybe more than one, and make discoveries for you. So those are 3 things we're going to execute, and please watch us do that. And anybody who's not an investor, please put us on your ticker so you can see. We like to build these companies. I'd like you to watch us. Hopefully this one goes from the small market cap up to hundreds of millions and beyond. Please watch us as we try to do that.
Fantastic. Well, I'll put a link in the description below to the J2 Metals website. I'll put a link to the investor presentation as well. And any social media I'll also put in the description too, so people can follow along with the company. Thomas, fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Great to see you, as always.
Commodity Culture is a series on commodities and natural resources. If you would like to see more, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're always up to date with the latest episodes.